Resisting. The history of citriculture in Sao Paulo and Minas Gerais is a history of resistance. Because one thing is to grow citrus, but another is to grow citrus in tropical conditions. Since the 1930s, citriculture in Sao Paulo and Minas Gerais has faced daily phytosanitary challenges, causing fruit drop, impacting production, and incurring losses. After the citrus tristeza, citrus canker, citrus variegated chlorosis or CVC, and citrus sudden death would follow. No other crop in Brazil has withstood so many problems with pests and diseases as orange, lemon, acid lime, and mandarin groves have. But the worst of all storms came later. In 2004, when greening, or HLB, was identified in Brazil. There is the citrus industry before greening, and there is another one after greening, much more difficult. Wherever it went, China, India, Vietnam, Indonesia, South America, the Caribbean, Mexico, the United States, greening left unmistakable traces of destruction. But why do Sao Paulo and Minas Gerais resist? Mainly due to two factors. The first factor is the vocation for science. Sao Paulo State, through scientific institutions and research and development agencies, has become to be structured to address agribusiness issues. For over 100 years, due to pests in coffee plantations. Then, in 1977, citrus growers established the Fund for Citrus Protection, Citrus. The second factor is the knowledge accumulated from all past challenges in the field. For example, with CVC, the importance of planting healthy nursery plants, removing diseased plants, and controlling the transmitting insect was learned. These measures, years later, served as the basis for controlling greening, when the sector still knew little about the disease. And because you can make lemonade out of lemons, the crisis became an opportunity due to increased changes with teaching, research, and technology development centers in Brazil and around the world. Citrus, together with other project partners from FAPESP, put Brazil on the international science map and became a global reference in science and sustainability for citriculture. As science is also driven by chance, by what is unexpected, by what is surprising. Wasn't that the case with penicillin? Reports from Vietnam suggested that mandarin trees interplanted with guava trees had lower incidences of greening than groves with only mandarin trees. They didn't know, but the scientists and citrus growers from the delegation led by Citrus were on the other side of the world, looking at the grove of the future. The grove of the future is built on knowledge and produces sustainability. The grove of the future features integrated pest management, biological control, and biotechnology. It works based on 3 pillars: the choice of the planting area and the external management in the surroundings of the farm, the border, and the interior. Rule number 1. Choose planting microregions with low or, even better, very low incidence of the disease. with neighbors willing to act together, simultaneously, and rigorously in controlling greening. In the surroundings of the farm, external management involves replacing citrus plants that do not receive proper treatment with other fruit species, reducing contamination sources. And in backyards and hard-to-access areas, with the release of Tamarixia radiata, a small wasp that is a natural enemy of the psyllid. The concept of border is strategic in the grove of the future. First, it acts as a barrier to wind currents that carry the psyllid into the grove. But the greatest move is to make it an area that attracts the psyllid. When the enemy is concentrated in a specific location, it is easier to act. The orange trees in the border are more vigorous. Therefore, they flush more, attracting the psyllid, which prefers the tender tissue of the shoots. To enhance this attraction, a trap plant is used, curry leaf or orange jasmine, extremely attractive to the psyllid. Everything in the border is inviting to the insect. Thus, control is much more efficient, much more sustainable. To talk about the grove's interior, we need to return to Vietnam. It has been proven in the laboratory that caryophyllene, a volatile compound from guava trees, is unpleasant to the psyllid, serving as a natural repellent. Interestingly, caryophyllene is also present in orange trees. The main question was how to make orange trees emit a larger amount of this volatile compound to repel the psyllid. After 15 years of research, these orange trees now exist using safe and modern plant improvement technology and are in the world's largest field trial of repellency. And initial results show that the incidence of greening in these plants is lower. Hope is only given to those who are resistant. But these orange trees do not readily mature, for the caryophyllene emission to be the highest. So, when they are young, they are treated with kaolin, a rocky, mineral, natural, non-toxic substance that camouflages the plant, confusing the psyllid. And these trees with repellent canopies in the future grove's interior will be on dwarfing rootstocks that flush less. Therefore, if kaolin confuses it, if there are few shoots for it to feed on, and if the orange trees repel it, where does the insect go? Bingo! It is directed to the border, to the attracting area, where the whole insect population will be concentrated. The surroundings, the borders, and the interior of the grove of the future is where the intelligence is. And most importantly, it is not a scientific revolution that only saves Brazilian citriculture. It is a technological suite that all citrus growing regions worldwide can benefit from. Greening has no cure. The knowledge accumulated so far has not been enough to stop the disease, which seriously threatens the world's largest orange juice industry. Various therapeutic or rehabilitation methods have been tested. Pruning symptomatic branches, thermotherapy, resistance inducers, antimicrobial peptides, antibiotics, nutritional cocktails, unlocking phloem vessels, growth regulators, individual plant protection with anti-psyllid screens, reflective plastic film. But all of them, invariably, end up being somehow impractical. The citrus industry in Sao Paulo and Minas Gerais is a source of economic, social, environmental, and nutritional wealth. And science has been making this historic activity increasingly sustainable, balancing production and protection with rational use of natural resources, addressing most of today's global challenges at once. How, after all, to produce food for a still growing global population with the real threat of impracticability due to greening in an already established scenario of climate change with the least environmental impact possible. That's exactly what Brazilian citriculture is doing, because all resistance is a form of reinvention.